It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Tuesday, the 18th of August. I'm Michael Groff. For the second night in a row, showers and thunderstorms descended on the valley. A few of them got on the strong side, bringing some gusty winds, blowing dust, a pretty good light show for most of us. And if you were in sections of the East Valley, Tempe, Chandler, Gilbert, Scottsdale, you got a little bit of measurable rain in spots, as well as parts of the West or Southwest Valley around Avondale up toward Peoria. But a lot of spots still saw absolutely nothing, and that's just the way the monsoon works. Now, the rest of the week, we will have these small chances of storms each afternoon, but the heat will continue to be the big weather headline. Let's talk about it. Yesterday, 115 degrees again was the afternoon high. That's the 10th time this year we've had a high of 115 plus, and that broke a record again. The morning low, 90 degrees. That's the 23rd time we've had a low of 90 plus, also adding on to that record. And a trace of rain officially in the bucket at Sky Harbor, but again, some spots saw more than that. Outside now, here at 7:35 a.m. Some high clouds around to start this day. 93 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew points at 56, relative humidity 28%. Though winds are light and the barometer is steady. Temperatures out there this morning, 78, the cool spot at Fort McDowell. Most locations around the metro are in the mid-80s to mid-90s. Already 95 in Scottsdale, 96 in Arcadia. The upper air look, it's a broken record. High amplitude pattern across the United States. Big trough in the east and our sprawling ridge with upper heights near 600 decameters. That ridge center just to our north, the flow aloft out of the east-northeast, and that's going to set the stage for another round of storms to roll off the mountains into the deserts later today. Here's the watch warning map, and again, out here in the west, it's all about the heat, really. Excessive heat warnings and heat advisories extend from the southwest all the way up through the Great Basin, the Pacific Northwest, the Rockies. Some fire danger concerns, dense smoke advisories again across parts of northeast California, southern Oregon. And that's not going to change anytime soon. The convective outlook for today, a few marginal risk zones for severe weather from northeast California up through parts of Oregon, Idaho, southwest Montana. Another zone from eastern Colorado up into the Dakotas. And here in Arizona, a marginal risk of severe storms extending from the White Mountains through the Phoenix metro area all the way out to the Colorado River. And the primary risk from storms once again today will be strong, damaging straight-line winds. Maybe a couple of storms produce a microburst. And with that comes the threat of blowing dust. Now, there is that secondary threat for some locally heavy downpours and maybe over the higher terrain, some small hail. We'll outline those risks in just a moment. The tropics in the Atlantic Basin, a couple of waves of note here. One entering the Caribbean, another out over the central Atlantic. Let's look at that Caribbean system. That's Invest 97L. And a majority of the tropical models keep it going westward across the Caribbean, out over the Yucatan and into the Gulf. Some try to curve it. Others kind of hug the Venezuelan and Colombian coast. It's just too early to tell where this is going. Just something to watch, as we always tell you. Same deal here for Invest 98L, the trailing wave. Many of the models cluster this moving to the west-northwest across the islands. Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Cuba. And this is going to encounter some drier air, a little bit of shear, and if it moves over the islands, of course, that will preclude it from developing further. But again, it's just too early to tell where this is going to go right now. This is just something to keep our eyes on. Speaking of things to watch, let's look out in the East Pacific. We've got Hurricane Genevieve. This is now a major hurricane. Max sustained winds 130 miles per hour, sitting off the Mexican coast. Moving to the northwest, this will move up the west coast of Baja there and eventually out to sea and fizzle out. At least that's what the majority of guidance thinks. The National Hurricane Center track has that. Looking at the tropical models, that's generally the way this will look. This will not directly affect us here in the southwestern United States. However, some moisture from this may make its way up the Gulf and into southern Arizona later in the week. And by this weekend, some of the models do pick up on that idea. So this could have at least minor implications on our weather going forward. Here's a look at precipitation valid through next Tuesday morning from the WPC. Rain amounts in Phoenix shown to be nothing. Statewide, generally under 1/4 of an inch, although any one spot can get more than that, as we always tell you during the monsoon. And I do think the possibility of storms will be with us in the valley slight as it may be, for the rest of the week and heading into the weekend. We'll show you why as we take a look at modeling. Here we go, the GFS, the 06Z run, valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. There is our big sprawling ridge, the heat dome, centered across Utah and Nevada, upper heights, near 6,000 meters again today. My goodness. An east-northeasterly flow in the mid-levels here across Arizona once again today. So down at the surface, it's kind of a carbon copy of yesterday. Partly sunny, widely scattered, showers and thunderstorms developing over the high country, moving into the deserts this afternoon. High temperatures around 110 to 113. The record high for today is 112. So ho-hum, another day where we may very well break a record. The question for today, as has been the case the last few days and will continue to be for the rest of the week, is will the storms make it in here? And there's a number of atmospheric parameters that suggest yes, and a number that say no. And we'll try and get some clarity on this by looking at a forecast sounding coming off of the 3-kilometer NAM for the Phoenix area for this afternoon. This is at 5 o'clock. And to some of you, this looks like a bunch of Klingon. It's a lot of gibberish. But this is sort of the under-the-hood look at the atmosphere, so to speak. And CAPE values, instability just really isn't there. Readings generally under 500 joules per kilogram. Atmospheric moisture, not very plentiful. Precipitable water values around 1.1 inches. We like to see those a lot higher, around 1.4 inches this time of year, or above that. Cloud base is pretty high. Mixing ratios are low. And again, we'd like to see that at least at the very minimum above 8 grams per kilogram, and they're around 6.5. So all of those are factors that will hold back any thunderstorm activity, as well as the convective inhibition in the atmosphere. There's definitely a little bit of a capping inversion there. But DCAPE values are very high, generally around 2,300 joules per kilogram. Some models actually have them higher than that. So what this says to me is that any storms that are able to get in here today would have the potential to produce the strong, damaging straight-line winds, or maybe a microburst. And of course, blowing dust would be a big risk as well. Rain, not an especially high likelihood, although any one spot could get that locally heavy downpour as we saw in the East Valley yesterday. All right, otherwise, tonight we go on to have a slight chance of showers and storms continue through the evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy, lows mid-80s to low 90s. Tomorrow, a very similar setup. High pressure remains to the north and east-northeasterly flow aloft. Widely scattered storms over the mountains, move toward the deserts. And really more the same. High temperatures, 110 to 113 or so. Really, things don't change a whole lot on Thursday. I think maybe the number of storms is slightly less. But by Friday, we start to see some moisture potentially coming in here from Hurricane Genevieve. And so that could add at least to the moisture at the surface to add to the possibility of widely scattered storms getting into the deserts for not only Friday, but the weekend. In fact, the GFS on Saturday suggests scattered to numerous showers and storms across northwest Mexico and getting into southern Arizona. So we may have to start bumping up the chances of storms here, but the models really diverge here on the idea of storm chances. Really, the European keeps us very dry this weekend. The GFS is more bullish on moisture. The GFS has done a somewhat better job handling things of late, especially the GFS ensemble members. So I'm going to lean the forecast that way just a bit. High temperatures would come down if moisture levels do come up a bit. Highs closer to 110, maybe below that. And especially Sunday. If Saturday turns out to be an active day, we may not have high temperatures getting above the 104 to 107 bracket. We'll just have to see. And Monday, too, widely scattered showers and storms. The overall synoptic weather pattern doesn't change a whole lot. The high pressure area will wobble a bit back and forth, probably eventually propagating toward the Four Corners and setting up there, which is a pretty favorable spot to bring more monsoon moisture in here. Let's hope so. Here's a week from today. This is Tuesday, the 25th. The ridge is somewhere close to the Four Corners at this point, and so monsoon moisture comes in. Widely scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening hours continue. And going out 10 days to the end of the period, this is Thursday, the 27th. High pressure loosely around the Four Corners for at least a low-grade monsoon forecast. Temperatures might not be quite as hot either. And we'll watch the tropics in the East Pacific because the GFS seems to think that they will continue to remain active for the next 10 days, and that looks very plausible. Precipitation off the European ensemble. A few more members are starting to trend toward the idea of some rain in here over the next couple of weeks, but still a number of them keep us dry. The ensemble mean is around 1/4 of an inch. The control member up there near 4/10 of an inch. And temperatures off the national blend of models, it's got us at 114 again today. The record, as I mentioned, is 112. Very likely we'll break that. We might see temperatures trend down a little bit as we get to the weekend, and if some of that deeper moisture from Genevieve gets in here, we could be just a little cooler than that. But of course, the trade-off is the humidity levels would be coming up. And that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video back here tomorrow morning. If you enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, and click that notification bell so that whenever a brand new video is posted, you'll get the notice. Your comments, questions, and suggestions always encouraged as well. Thanks so much for watching. It is greatly appreciated. You guys be safe, stay cool, drink plenty of water, watch your kids around the swimming pool, and have yourselves a phenomenal Tuesday.